Hey guys, it's Adam from Uncover. A couple of quick announcements for you. First off, we want to hear from you. Head over to WTKEncore.com/survey to take a super quick survey and give us your feedback. Good and bad, be honest. Seriously, we want to keep this thing going in the best way possible, so please let us know your thoughts. It's really fast and the info will go a long way. That's WTKEncore.com/survey. Secondly, you may have seen the trivia questions we posted last week on Twitter. We're going to be doing the same thing this week, so check out @Uncover Studios and tweet us your answers for the chance to get a shout out on the next episode. This week's winner is @WeTheHolly. Alright, that's all I have for you. Enjoy the show.
Hi guys, this is Hannah from Cornwall, England, and you're listening to We the Kings Encore. Enjoy!
And we're recording. Welcome to episode... Oh, I should probably turn this off. Hold on.
Fight.
Hey.
Oh, right when I said fight.
Oh, you want to hear? You want to
yeah,
get?
give me one half a second so I can get the Mortal Kombat in. Fight.
Oh wait. All right, here one more time.
All right, here.
Fight. I got the frequency. Just a minute. Fight. That was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Anyways, hey, what's up,
sorry.
everybody? We're here. This is Encore.
Encore.
We the Kings.
Yeah. Obviously, you could tell we got a bit of the studio fever.
We do. Once we get in here, we just turn into completely different people.
It's very true.
Hey, so we decided. Sorry, I went away from the mic for a second. I just wanted to make sure all the plugins were off. We decided that this podcast would be specifically a past, present, and future style podcast. So we wanted to tell you a little bit what we've been doing these past 2 weeks, but really specifically on just a couple days. Really,
I like that format.
yeah.
That's going to keep us like on topic.
Doubtful, but yeah.
Doubtful.
Let's try it. So you recently turned 31 as of a couple months ago.
I recently, at some point this year, turned 31.
Right.
That was a terrible segue to the story that I think you want me to bring up that I told you earlier. But
About the hot dogs.
no, I did something amazing and stupid at the same time yesterday. The farthest I've ever run, ever in my life, is 8 miles. That's my personal record. And that's since high school. I ran like cross country.
On treadmill, or was that...
Just period, in general.
I know, but was that...
This was in like cross country terrain.
on like a... Yeah,
in the woods, right. But so that's the farthest I've ever run, 8 miles. Last night, out of nowhere, I don't know what happened or where it came from, I just felt like running. I got on the treadmill, and I set the timer for like 45 minutes. Like, all right, it's time to train for this half marathon. 45 minutes hits. I felt like I haven't even taken a step. I have so much energy. So I just keep going. It gets to an hour. The treadmills in our apartment complex, I think because of insurance purposes, they shut down. Like, because
there's no way that somebody could be running for an hour. Somebody left it on. Like,
we don't want you to collapse and just spray into the wall like after running for too long. So after an hour, it's like we need to go to a cool down period. But I was like, I'm not done. So I got off, did one of those like jogging at the stoplight, slow side steps to the next treadmill, and fired it up as quick as I could, and ran like another 36 minutes. And I got like 10.27 miles out. Like, that's the farthest I've run. And honestly, I probably could have kept going.
So 10 miles in an hour and a half.
In an hour and a half. It was a 9:30 pace. Not that crazy, but like for training for a half marathon, I was,
And for it being your longest period running ever.
Yeah, and this was at 10 p.m. Like, Valentina was sitting there on one of the exercise balls, like kind of working the baby. And I just, kept going. Got off the treadmill, feeling amazing. And then to bring up your segue, the next morning was the first time I've ever experienced just wait till you get older. Your knees, your back, your this, your that. I felt like bone was touching bone in my knees. I felt like I couldn't move. Like it took to extend my leg from 90 degrees to straight. Took me like 2 whole minutes. I had to go that slow.
Well, because that's the real thing. So those of you who are listening who are above 30 years old, I don't know why 30 is the number, but for whatever reason, when you go out drinking on your 30th birthday, you're 29 when you go out, and you're 30 the next day. When you wake up that next morning, you feel like death. And it's not because you drank any more than your 29th or 28th or 27th birthday. You're just 30. You're just feeling older. So your muscles, your tolerance, your attitude, you become more 30.
Yeah, you settle in, and you know.
Totally settle in. Yeah. I remember mine was 30, my back. It was my back. I literally... I needed Jenny to be like, hey, can you give me a hand real quick and just kind of like get me over to the fridge so I can get some grapes? She was like, what's wrong? I was just like, I'm 30. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
But that's the thing. I did like a little personal training sessions when I was like 29 or so, right? And I would go in and do squats, and even the personal trainer, who was light years more in shape than I was like, you just came to the squat machine without doing any stretch or warming up your knees and maxed out. I was like, yeah. And he's like, that's not going to last long. And I was like, whatever. I didn't even feel it the next day. Nothing.
Right.
This morning is the very first time I wore those like compression knee compression thing.
Yeah.
I wore it for 8 hours today.
Well, what's funny is, and I think a lot of people will know this, but when you work out really hard, it's always the second day. It's like, the bruising sets in, and it's like the bruising doesn't look bad until the second day. So tomorrow might actually be worse.
Oh my God. Don't even say that. This morning I live on the 4th floor, and I have to walk down the stairs to walk my dog. This morning, he was literally like doing circles, like, come on. I gotta poop, dude.
Well, so do people know what you're training for?
Yeah, I'm trying not to bring it into every conversation I have, like CrossFit.
Like, super proud.
But thanks for asking. No, I signed
I'm
up.
also gluten-free. Sorry, when that was a thing, everybody was just like, do you have anything that's free of gluten?
Yeah, right. So I signed up for a half marathon weekend with Disney. I know it's par for the course with my little Disney obsession that I got. But you pretty much run a half marathon through the parks, and the day before that you run like a 10K, which is 6 miles. So through the weekend you run 19.3 miles. They got all these shiny medals in perfect Disney fashion, which is fantastic inspiration for me because it's working. But,
by the way, definitely a cooler place to run when, by contrast to a treadmill. If someone was like, hey, can you run 20 miles on this treadmill? You could probably ask a 5-year-old to run 20 miles through Disney, and they'd be like, yeah, I do it every time I go to Disney.
Yeah.
Because they're just running around. They just don't know. You're oversaturated with what you're looking at. It's probably a really cool environment to run.
Yeah. I mean, I could agree with the debates on both sides because, treadmills, they kind of guide your feet. But I know what you mean. Like, mentally, it's going to be easy. Like, you're running by the Epcot ball and stuff.
Yeah, it's still tough. It's
for sure.
If anybody is out there listening that is exactly like me, the thought of running is exhausting. So I'd like to do anything else. I'd ride my bike if I was going over jumps or something. Like if you do something cool, or swim, with my daughter.
Yeah, you're not that big of a runner. When you do run, you like.
See, I don't know.
Very proud
now
of yourself.
I'm offended somehow.
Well, no, because
I just told everybody I didn't like running, but then when you say it, I'm just like, yeah, well.
Because I remember on tour you ran one time, and then I think you were like hitting up Nike for a shoe deal or something. You made like a running video.
Yeah, I'm gonna run for a purpose, is what you're saying. I used to run a 5K every day, and it bothered Jenny. Not that I was running, but it bothered her that I said that I would like, she'd be like, hey, where'd you go? I was just like, I just ran a 5K. She's like, well, why don't you just call it 3 miles?
Or why don't you just say I went running?
Or just went running.
Yeah.
But it was because it was what people run. People run 5Ks and 10Ks for these charities all the time. And so it became a thing. I would come in the house. She was like, where'd you go? I was just like, I was just running 5K. Did a 5K yesterday. Probably do a 5K tomorrow. And I did that for a long time. And then it just, I got sick of running again.
I think I'm guilty of that right now with like books. Like if somebody's like, oh, where'd you go? I was like, oh, I just read 5 chapters of this book I'm reading. It's like, well, just say that you read. And that's it. Yeah, I have to let them know.
We don't need to know how many chapters.
Yeah, I read 5 chapters.
I read 111 pages.
Yeah, exactly. I'm guilty of that right now. Because reading a book is like, it's a lot of time,
It's time consuming, as much so as watching Game of Thrones to,
I don't know why you're attacking this crowd. It's a bad crowd to go after, man. You got dragons.
All right, so that's what Danny's been up to. Not really been up to, but
hold on. Your past couple of days, you did the eclipse. Like you went and did it.
This is fresh. This is new news in the sense of like this just happened.
Yeah, nobody's talking about the eclipse.
You can't even find any news about it. Jenny and I decided very, very last minute. So her grandfather has a lake house in Hiawassee, Georgia, which is pretty much we flew into Atlanta and we drove about 2.5 hours through the mountains, like hilly, windy. Jenny had to pee like 19 times because she's super pregnant. And Hiawassee is right where Tennessee meets Georgia and North Carolina meets, so that like tri-state area. His lake house is, this beautiful house on the lake, but it couldn't be more in the path of totality for the eclipse.
Right.
So, we went online. Hey, what's the eclipse going to look like? It's going to look like this, going to look like this. Secretly, I'm just thinking about Twilight Eclipse, the movie, which has nothing to do about eclipse. That's my Game of Thrones. That's yours is Game of Thrones. My obsession is Twilight.
One is amazing writing and acting. The other one is a
multi-million-dollar
cheap trend. Yeah. Cool.
Or cheap trend with dragons or whatever. Like how I twisted that. So we went up for 2 days and got to see this eclipse. And I actually, by the time that this comes out, which is I think in a day or 2 days, I will be able to you'll be able to go check out the pictures that I posted online. But I'm trying to make a portrait where I kind of Photoshop the pictures right next to each other, where it's like full sun, quarter of the eclipse, half eclipse, 3/4 eclipse, total eclipse, and then the opposite on the way back down.
Yeah,
it was amazing, dude. We had these glasses that to filter.
Yeah,
and I think you guys had those here, right?
Yeah, the glasses that most people had. Yeah.
The most amazing thing, other than like just the total blackout in just seeing like the
eclipse.
Yeah, but they call the outer surrounding part something like it's not the cumulus, or I think it starts with a C. Anyways, you got it for us?
Circumference. Valentina's in the room with us.
Valentina's in the room bouncing on a ball. We need an intern that just types on a computer the whole time and finds out facts and fact checks.
I know. There's so many podcasts that have like real real things like that, but we're working.
We need you guys to know that we're in an office. Super nice, great.
We're not. We're in your house.
Yeah, but there's no closet, so you couldn't call this a bedroom.
Oh, true.
Right, so it's got to be some sort of closet.
Very true.
Study. Anyways, so the coolest part, apart from that blackout part, was how dark it got, and all the animals, like the bugs and the crickets and things like that chirp at night only.
Yeah.
So you kind of feel like, so it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and you just hear all these crickets doing their thing, frogs ribbiting, and it was just for that time. You looked around, and everywhere you could see was like that. If the sun sets at 8, it was 7:45. Like, it was so bizarre. And when the total eclipse happened, there's all these people with their boats out on the lake, and all these people in their backyards watching.
Yeah.
They had 115,000 people in a 5,000 capacity city. Essentially, It was just people everywhere. When the total eclipse happened, people were cheering. Someone lit off fireworks because it was dark enough to see the actual fireworks. It was so cool.
I don't know why I have a problem with that. Like, that just seems like an inappropriate time. Like,
yeah, like, let us enjoy Mother Nature. Get your sulfur out of here. Anyways, it was absolutely amazing for the 2.5 minutes. I mean, that's all it was. 2.5 minutes of
the total darkness
of total darkness. But then, after you've led up to it and you've seen the quarter or half,
right?
A lot of people don't watch the last quarter, the last half, the last 3 quarters, because they've already seen it on the opposite side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the credits are rolling.
Exactly. So the 2.5 minutes was incredible. So I don't know how many people got to see it from different angles, but if you were in the path of totality, it was really, really special. Totally worth, in my opinion, flying to Atlanta. Driving the 2.5 hours, being stuck. We were in the car for 4.5 hours on the way back to Atlanta's airport because everybody was trying to leave at the same time. Like, once the credits started rolling, as it were, people were just like, let's get in the car. Let's try to beat the traffic. And everybody had that same idea. Let's all beat the traffic. Man. So it was awful. So it was awful. No, it was totally worth it.
2 out of 10 would not do Eclipse again.
Totally worth it. And we actually, speaking of doing it again, wherever the next eclipse may be, some say,
some say 2024.
2024, like it's coming through Florida or the Northeast or whatever.
We'll see.
But I think it's going to be one of those things where I would want to get like the family together and go see something like that. I feel like super nerdy in that fashion, where I want to go see a total eclipse every time it comes through.
I think it's worth it. I mean, we kind of experienced it in like the not trying so hard way, but we tried harder than most people did. We went to the Orlando Science Center, which was close. We felt like it was an appropriate spot to be at for a total eclipse. Like, I don't know why I pictured they'd have people there with clipboards and polos on talking about what an eclipse is, the last time it happened, and why this matters or whatever. But so we decided to go there. It was an absolute madhouse. Like a Walmart on Black Friday madhouse. Nightmare. So we kind of
they're like turning people away at the door like it's a club that's at capacity.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if there wasn't, but had I heard a story that there was a fist fight there, I would totally believe it. Like
right.
It was that kind of atmosphere. So once we got our glasses, which Valentina, she like found some dude who like tried to sneak out of a back door with him. She just goes, "Can I have 2 of those?" And he goes, "Ugh." Like, "All right, don't tell anybody." It was like that. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Then we finally got out. It stopped raining just in time, and we're like, "Why don't we just go do this in our pool?" So we just went to the pool at our apartment, like where there's a very clear sight, and we just, she's pregnant, so she was loving the pool, and we were just looking up at the sky. And
so what did you guys see at the time that it was?
Ours was 85% from Orlando, so
cool.
It literally looked like a banana,
like a crescent moon,
like a banana, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was cool because the hue was still kind of dark and contrasty and very cool, but like, I mean, probably nothing like.
Well, even at like 55 or 60%, you could tell like the temperature dropped. You could tell that it was like that warm tone of almost like either sunrise or sunset. It was still a big difference from what we're used to.
Some guy said he came down and saw us, and he's like, "I got a buddy in Wisconsin. He said that he could see stars."
Yeah,
you could see stars.
I have a couple pictures. I don't know if they were stars or planets, but because you can literally see 2 planets or whatever. Anyways, yeah, absolutely. There's 2 stars in the pictures that I took when the eclipse happened, and it was total blackout. Dude, I'm telling you, the sky was dark. It was the craziest thing.
Just to let you guys know, in the We the Kings group text, Charles clearly couldn't handle how good of a photo that you got. Like the photo you posted was so good. He was like, "Nice Photoshop job." Yeah. And you're like, "No."
Jealousy's an ugly animal, and
it really got to him that you got that shot.
It was funny because
he was not handling it.
Charles, as you all know, is our resident bass player and resident videographer. So he prides himself in getting great shots,
getting the great shot of whatever
it
is. Yeah.
He knows. I feel like he knows that I don't do Photoshop. So,
in his defense, you've got that sort of mischievous kind of tone to like some of the things you do. So it would have been believable.
Like my GQ shoot, which is still waiting to come out. Anyways,
oh my god.
So we went to the eclipse from New York, and this is the third part of our past.
We just did that festival,
the Billboard Hot 100 festival. So here, while you explain the type of show, let me get the lineup so that I can just read some names off to you and try to see where you guys fit us in.
And so the Billboard Hot 100 Festival was at the Jones Beach Amphitheater, which is massive. There were multiple stages. Like, it wasn't just the amphitheater. That was like the main, like that's where DJ Khaled and, Demi Lovato played. But there was stages around it, sort of like a mini Warped Tour right there in Long Island. If, you're from the Long Island Warped Tour, is a very similar setup.
And it wasn't, Warped Tour's similar, but Warped Tour has 8 stages, 7, 8 stages.
It was a mini Warped Tour.
Main, and then
2
smaller main, and then like a Heat Seekers stage. So
that's right. I guess there was like 2.5 stages.
There was only
sorry
to all the Heat Seekers band. They're like, it's a full stage. So I'm gonna name some bands, and you guys let me know which artist does not fit. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Major Lazer, Marshmello, DJ Khaled, Zed, We the Kings. Sorry, I'll try not to laugh. Okay, Harry. Next list. Gucci Mane, T-Pain,
Rick Ross,
We the Kings.
But
hold on, one more.
Sure,
we can do one more.
Drive it home.
Young Thug, Waka Flocka Flame, T-Pain,
Big Sean,
Little Yachty, We the Kings. So to illustrate my point, we were on a festival and I think we were holding it down for like the rock bands.
Dude, they turned out for our show.
It was amazing, and I think what it was. Do you remember our tour with J. Cole, where J. Cole, and I think I speak for the both of us. I think one of the best rappers that is out now. He not only is he like just incredibly talented, but just like humble, nice dude.
He's awesome.
Never showed us anything but love. It was amazing. But anyways, he was hip hop. He was rap. We were rock. We were pop. And to see us tour together for a month and a half at these colleges was awesome because you had a very hip hop rap crowd, and then you had a very pop rock alternative indie crowd. And I feel like the crowds work so well because people who love hip hop and rap love seeing like dudes go crazy on stage and rock because it's not what they're used to. And
it's the contrast.
And then people who love rock and pop, they're just like, everybody loves hip hop and loves a good beat. So they're just like, this is awesome. And it couldn't have been a cooler type of tour. And that's what the Billboard Hot 100 was. We held it down for the rockers out there. And I think when Billboard saw how many people we had come out to the show, they were actually really impressed because they weren't sure. They booked us kind of on a faith-based whim, and we drove it home. So I was actually really excited about that. I know a lot of people have been asking when we're touring next, and this is the type of season where we are playing these one-off shows. So if you happen to be on a student council of some sort at a college or a promoter of a festival, those are the type of shows that we'll be playing the next 3, 4, 5 months. Although we just announced our big not big tour, our only tour in Mexico that we've ever done, or sorry, that we will ever do. Not ever do. This is all coming out bad.
Yeah,
we're playing in Mexico in November.
There you go. Easy does it.
So we have that. We have a couple one-off shows. Obviously, we'd love to tour more often, but it's about time for the present part of this podcast.
Yeah.
The next time that you hear Danny's voice, not in this podcast, he's like,
Ever.
oh, water broke. The next time that you hear Danny's voice on the next podcast, he will be, and I'm gonna say this, but it's not what I mean. You're gonna be a dad because I think you're already a dad. We had this conversation when I ran the Father's Day run in Afghanistan or in Africa when we were doing the Navy tour.
Yeah.
I did a Father's Day run while Jenny was 6 months pregnant.
Yeah, I think you claimed Father's Day while she was pregnant, and I didn't say like I wasn't like no credibility, but I was like, is it? I guess I never drew the line of where it starts because to me it's like.
Well, I'll ask you now because you're kind of in that zone where in a week and a half, in less than 10 days, assuming that I'm right with my prediction from 2 weeks ago.
That's tough. I don't think it's black and white because I don't consider myself like a dad yet for some reason. I think I'm light years away from what I was before Valentina was pregnant, as far as like being prepared for a child, knowing what's going to happen and this and that. But the difference between me right now and me, even having Carter for like a week, I feel like that's just going to be two different people.
Well, let's open it up to the phones, and by phones I mean comment on social media wherever you
technically
on your phones. Let us know. Do you think Danny is a dad now before actually having Carter?
And don't be nice. No,
just
don't be like.
It's not. It's not a mean answer.
What do you actually think? Where do you think the line is?
Would you wish him a happy Father's Day? That's where the line is. Would you wish him a happy Father's Day if Father's Day were right now and you didn't?
No, like when Father's Day was because she was pregnant.
Yeah, because she was pregnant then. That's right.
People tried to wish me one, and I was like,
See, I stand on the positive side of that. I just got my wife pregnant, so damn right I'm a father.
But no, to me, like when I'm holding Carter for like Father's Day next year, that's to me.
You don't want to be like
first Father's Day.
You don't want that to be second.
Here we go again. Like that's not my second one. Like this, that's me taking my boy somewhere. Father's
Day. I think here's a tricky side of that. Is Valentina a mom now? She's going through hell. Jenny went through hell. So are you saying that when they do Mother's Day, should they not?
I don't. This isn't mean. This is by my own logic.
This is just
I have to
people
stand by it.
Attack you.
I think she's a pregnant woman. I don't think she's a mom.
Interesting. She's laughing. Let the record show that she's laughing.
Let the record show that Danny sleeps on the couch
for the next 19 nights.
Yeah. No, I just think that's. I don't know why that's. There's all kinds of categories for that. Like, can I claim him on my taxes right now? If I filed taxes right now, no, you can't. Like, there's the government side, there's the emotional side, there's the, in spirit. Do I consider him like kind of here already in every aspect of what we do? Yeah, like if we were to go take a long walk, I'd be like, well, you're pregnant, with Carter. Like he's here, in like the whole essence of him being with us, but not actually in my hands. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you've done well at trying to get yourself out of that hole.
It's not. I understand it sounds heartless to be like, nope, I'm not a dad yet, but it is what it is.
When the best way that you put it was when I spend my first Father's Day holding my child, then that should be your first father.
Okay, so the one with the emotion.
Best,
Got it.
That's the best point you had.
Got it. Should have stopped while I was ahead.
Yeah, mentioning the taxes, people were just like, dude, you're a dad.
Heartless bad.
Quit being a dick. Future. We're the future part. We gotta get there somehow. We just
I'm gonna be a dad.
No. And thanks for listening. We've been putting out these singles. Last week we put out Chuck Yes Juliet. This Tuesday, or sorry, as in 2 days ago, we released Skyway Avenue, and these are done remixes. I think it'd be cool for us to kind of go over the process of making these songs, because I think the last thing that We the Kings wants people to hear is that we decided to all get back into the studio and try to re-record the songs the way that we did them 10 years ago or
or I think some people think that these are just kind of B-side versions that we're pulling out of a vault somewhere,
like demos or something.
Like no, these were just the cap was tipped to these. They were just redone in this. I think they're awesome. Like, I truly love the way that these songs were revisited, like from you, the person who wrote them, into like this kind of new style, like a new way of enjoying like a song that's been around for 10 years. I love them.
Totally. And it's not for everybody. We are very aware that, some people don't like electronic dance music. Some people don't like stripped down, soft music. Some people don't like...
But they're all different in that way. Like, they're not all EDM. They're not all just simple acoustic. Like, I think they're all... Like I said, they're all a very cool way of revisiting these songs. And you just have to check them all out.
And, we did want to make them... We wanted to make them very, very different. We didn't want to... It's like covering a Beatles song. It's like you either got to do it really different, because if you tried to do it too close to the original, it's always going to be worse than the original.
You'll always be second place.
Exactly. So, that record, which is our self-titled record from October 2nd, 2007, holds a very special... Available on iTunes and Citro, whenever you want to hear that, all participation. That record holds a really special place in our heart. So we, essentially not calling us the Beatles, but we wouldn't want to try to ruin that for us. So we wanted to do the songs differently.
Yeah, if you want to hear that song's available. These are just...
On iTunes. All participation.
Available October 2nd, 2008.
All participation. See back for details. Oh, dude. Oh, wait. Hold on.
You're trying to speed up the voice while you do all that.
All participants. See the back for the details. Oh, dude, the laugh is weird. Oh!
All right, I'm back. See the back for details.
We did the past, present, future to keep us on track, and there it goes, just right off the rails.
I like that we thought at some point that we could stay on track. It's just it could never happen. Anyways, we wanted to end the segment by not only saying that we are releasing new music, and whether we are on tour or not, we're always putting out new music. We want to be a band. This is our 10th year. We want to be a band 10 years from now and say, oh, this is our 20th year anniversary, et cetera, et cetera. But we do have a brand new song coming out in 2 weeks called Planes, Trains, and Cars. And it is done in the style of our self-titled record. So the fans who heard about us from Chuck Yes Juliet and Skyway Avenue and Secret Valentine, All Again for You, every song that was on that record, you're going to hear what We the Kings sounded like today. Man, that's kind of a weird way to put it, right?
That's a weird way to put it. I think it's just kind of like, I like the way I said it better. It's a fun, interesting way to revisit these songs, and they're not.
Well, I'm talking about Planes, Trains, and Cars specifically.
Oh, this Planes, Trains. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this song, I'll just give you honest behind the scenes. This is the most excited that me and Hunter sang as like people who just love kind of like the high energy, like guitars, drums, just kind of like getting back to like the grit that first album was. Man, this song just fits right into that puzzle. Just like, it's a perfect piece, just right in there.
This is for the demographic of people that might have said, I miss the old We the King, or some people are very locked into that record, or all of our records have sounded different. This brand new song that nobody's ever heard before sounds exactly like that last record, just done 10 years from then,
Okay, here, I have a more confusing analogy. Let's just say you had all We the King songs in a basket, right?
Yep.
You had no discography, no anything, no reference. You just threw them all up in the air and they're all over the floor. Somebody has to categorize the albums by guessing the flavor. They would put this song on the first album.
That's a really cool way to look at things.
Yep. Because Sunshine State of Mind, you kind of like had that softer beachy feel to it, still guitars,
right. Yep.
Like everything's got its own little vibe. This one, they would just take the song and be like, that's 100% right in there with all those songs.
Except what I was saying, done 10 years later because the production's way better. I did that. I did the production.
Really drive that nail. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just spent a lot of time staring at that computer. Hey, we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. As always, Danny, I was going to say we'll be back, but Danny, you might not be here for a couple podcasts, so I'll have to figure out what to do.
I will do what I can. I hope to be back, but if I'm not,
send Carter over. Carter will fill in while you get a nap.
There we go. It'll be for the better if I'm not here.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you for the next episode of Encore. Goodbye.
See ya.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play Music, or wherever you get your podcast. If you like what you heard, leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and please be sure to tell your friends. We the Kings is Hunter Thompson, Coley O'Toole, Danny Duncan, Charles Trippy, and Travis Clark. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at We the Kings, and check out our website at wethekingsmusic.com. WTK Encore is a proud member of Uncover Studios. You can follow Uncover on Twitter and Instagram at Uncover Studios for previews and behind-the-scenes looks at new episodes. Dave Kiney and Caroline Valentino are our executive producers. Adam Raymunda produced and scored this episode. Production assistance by James DiFrancesco. And a big thanks to you, our fans. Don't miss the next Encore.
Hey everyone, Adam again. Before we let you go, I wanted to tell you that you could be featured at the start of a WTK Encore episode if you send a quick voice memo over to voices@wtkencore.com. It's super easy. All you have to do is introduce yourself with your first name, hometown, and a little personal message if you want. Then intro the show with something like, "You're listening to WTK Encore." We're looking forward to hearing your voices. Again, send them our way to voices@wtkencore.com. Thanks!